All right, good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. We're going to be going through live analysis in the order flow. Understand the participants in the auction process and where price might be going due to their actions. And that's what this is all about, understanding the order flow. And we can do that. We can look for opportunities. We can take live positions in here as well. It is in demo paper trading mode. So, but the reason we're going to do that, well, is because we can, because it's order flow. And that's what order flow offers you. But we also want to go over trade management, such a key element. And we're going to use order flow elements within Bookmap to help with that trade management. That is another edge that you get trading from the Bookmap chart. General disclosure, all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure, trading in futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's jump in. We'll take a look here at the S&P E-mini immediately and see what's going on. All right, so we're looking here at the cash open right here, 9:30. You can see it kind of inching up here since about 6 a.m. this morning, East Coast time, and trades into high liquidity up here. Tries to inch a little higher, doesn't quite make it, drops before the cash open, rises at the cash open, and then drops again. So really back and forth in here, as you guys can see. Now, the majority, though, as you can also see, are sellers. Okay, look at the red dots. Look at the red bars down here. We did not make a higher high here. So let's look for some more selling. And we're looking for them to hit the bid and into maybe this liquidity down here. Now, that's what I'd be looking for, and I haven't looked at my higher time frame, so I would take a position here. However, I am going to shy away from it because I want to look at the bigger picture. Okay, but based off of what we're looking at in here, we're selling off down here, and we're seeing more sellers. So we are looking for the move into 15 and 13 and 3/4 here. Maybe you can go down to 10. There's high liquidity there as well. Okay, so from very, very simple elements in here, looking for a very simple move. All right, and just by reading the auction in the order flow, the transactions within the market structure. All right, but it would be irresponsible to just jump into a position without understanding and going through the process. All right, so let me show you here our PDF. We'll jump to that first and our preparation. All right, hold on. Okay. Now you can get this over at the All Markets room as well here on Discord. So if you want this, and it's a very, very simple guide, but it is a top-down approach, and it's simple for a reason. We should at least be looking at these, right? Big picture here for fundamentals, technicals, an outlook for the day, and then the order flow. This is where the rubber is going to meet the road, and we're going to get some traction. All right, so bigger picture fundamentals, economic calendar, no news today. What about what's the market been reacting to? Well, there was huge news earlier, PPI, CPI, retail sales. And what is the environment here, though, in the bigger picture fundamentals? It's all about interest rates right now. That's what the market is responding to. So we know that the Fed looks at CPI, for example, PPI, and retail sales, and they're going to be making their interest rate decisions off of this data. And the data was not so, or it was coming down. The inflation is coming down. What does that mean? Well, it means the Fed will likely that now they can start to consider dropping the interest rate, and that would be good for the market. All right, and that's why we've gone up in the last few days. Now, geopolitical, we're talking about wars or like conferences or environmental stuff. It could be many different things in here for the geopolitical, and we never know. A lot of times we don't know when that is going to come out and affect the market. So we have to keep an eye on that, though. Now let's look at our bigger picture technicals. Okay, so we're going to look at our candlestick charts and swings and gaps and maybe some other elements in here, inside day, outside day, etc. All right, let's come back here and take a look at where we are right now. We're still dropping here. We're still looking though for these sellers to hit into our 15 liquidity here. This is where the buyers are. So we're looking for the sellers to hit into them. Okay, so now you can see we missed an opportunity here. Why did how did I miss this? Well, I wasn't prepared. Okay, it would be irresponsible not to be prepared here, but on the other hand, we missed it as well. Well, that's not good. We need to go through the process, and we need to be prepared. If you're not prepared, you're going to miss opportunities. That's the point I'm trying to make. So let's look at our daily candlestick chart here, hourly in the middle, and then the 15-minute chart on the right-hand side. And what's going on? Well, you can see the big moves up into on the daily. Pretty incredible stuff, all the way back up to the swing up here, and breaks above it. And then you can see that yesterday we broke above it, and we traded back though into yesterday or the previous day's range, okay, with that CPI data. All right, and then today, how are we doing? Well, you can see here with this candle, we are testing the swing low from yesterday, and you can also see that yeah, we're kind of bouncing around in here, but it already tested below it, and and we don't have too much clarity on this daily, right? Just we know that much. So let's look at the hourly then. Okay, so on the hourly chart here, now this is the regular trading hours chart for 15-minute and the hourly here. Well, here's the move up. Here's today's action, and you can see the yeah, the down candles here, but starting to kind of wane a little bit. We see nice kind of candle here, a move to the downside, and then a little bit less, and then right now quite a bit less, right? So we're starting to slow down. 15-minute chart also, you see the sharp moves, and then you can see the back and forth in here in the consolidation. All right, let me add a little bit more in here on 15-minute. Okay, I want to see this relationship here. Yeah, it makes sense. Like we're kind of bouncing here. I'm always looking at these areas in here in the chart, and the candlestick chart doesn't really give us much except for price structure. Truly, we can try to read the order flow in here, or the transactions in here. We just don't know though. We don't know where the volume transacts on here, but we have pretty good idea that there's going to be a lot of buyers in here lifting the offer and moving price higher here, and that's where we're retesting right now, as you can see. Okay, so are we going to find more buyers in here? That's really the question, and we don't see them now at the moment. We see some wicks in here, but we don't see them now. All right, so maybe we won't get down into that 15 level and retest it. We need to see a lot of selling coming in if that's going to be the case. Okay, and then maybe we can come down to this 09 level down here, or 10, somewhere around there, and test that area. Okay, so now let's jump over into Bookmap and let's see what's going on. Okay, so yeah, that's why we went through the process in here, because our expectations were, by looking at the order flow, our knee-jerk reaction was we're going to test down into 15, maybe 13, etc. Well, now we know better, right? And that's why we avoided it, jumping into a trade here, and then, you know, missing a potential opportunity. All right. Good morning, everybody. Alois, Rainy Day, Ahmed, and over in Discord land. Hold on a minute, guys. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I think. Yep, good morning, guys. Alois, Alan, Dan, Rob. Okay. All right, so let's look for some more opportunities in here, and see what's going on. We have our bigger picture, and then we're going to we're still kind of drilling down here. We've gone through the first two. Now outlook for the day, developing scenarios, and then considering strategies and setups, and then looking at the order flow and the criteria within our strategies and setups from the Learning Center. And then if we get involved in a trade, then our trade management and criteria. Okay, so the developing scenarios, well, we already went through one. They were looking for quite a few sellers in here, and are we getting them? Yeah, we're still seeing them. Actually, I'm going to take a shot at this. We're going to look for maybe a little bit of a pullback here, and the idea or the concept here is that we are looking for sellers, and we see sellers coming in, and for sellers to reach down to this 15 level here. Okay, that's really it for now, just that. Now it might continue, right? And we're only in one lot here, and we're going to front run this high liquidity down around 15. If buyers come in, well, we're not, and they are, and this is not what we're looking for. This is outside of our expectations. But you know, they got to get back up above here, and seeing quite a bit of buying, right? But right now, we're looking for, we see more sellers in our criteria in here, in this setup, okay, in the order flow as well. So you know, more selling, not a whole lot of buying, more selling, and then we're still looking for, and we just saw this selling coming in here, okay, so we're looking for the move back down to this cluster of volume here, just below the swing, and maybe make a new low for the cash session. All right, that is our scenario, and that is our strategy here. This is a trending move to the downside, which may shift and change right now. Okay, and we'll keep an eye out for it. Yeah, we have high liquidity here on the offer, just at this area here, 19.5 and 20. Let's see if we get our sellers come in now. Okay, now they are bidding up down here. Okay, as you can see, we didn't see that earlier. Maybe a little bit in here, but see how it's dark in here? That's why we're looking for our sellers to continue the move down. Right, so and then we got a little bit of shift in the order flow here, meaning these limit buy orders here, and these limit sell orders up in here. So anyway, yeah, we're still looking for the move lower. We had the Bookmap Academy meeting yesterday and going through criteria, and talking about lines on a chart. This is something I wanted to focus on today, because looks like I'm getting it wrong. Okay, now would I still take the same trade? Yeah, I would, because look at our criteria in here. Okay, you know, we don't know buyers are going to come in like this. Okay, so and they're coming in pretty strong right now, right? But here, when we were looking at this, we didn't know that. It was mostly selling. We're going to go with the sellers, and we're going to look for those sellers to continue to the downside. Now, you can even still make an argument for selling in control up here. Okay, so we can look for these sellers to remain in control, and you could still be sell side up here. Okay, now we just got stopped out, full stop, but we can still be sell side up here, right? If that is the case, then we may consider, like, you know, widening out our stops a bit more to offer more of an opportunity in here for us to capture. Okay, so if that is the case, then you have to adjust your risk rewards. Now you can see I have my stop loss and take profit here at 20 and 10, and you know, 2-to-1 ratio, and that's that. But you know, that doesn't really matter. We need to adjust our risk based on the market structure, and would probably be a good idea to have the stop up above this structure here. Okay, they're still going for it, but yeah, we don't know that this is going to happen, and everything that we looked at in here, we're still looking for sell side. I don't know if you guys see anything in here that makes any sense to you, to look at it differently, but all of a sudden buyers came in. All right, well, things got upended. This happens, and that's that. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll shake it off. Don't let it get to us. We're going to look for the next opportunity, and we're already starting to talk about it. Maybe up here, maybe we see something up here, and right now we don't. In fact, we're still seeing some more buying up here. Yeah, exactly, Rob. The evidence supports the sellers, and that's all we can know. You know, at this time. Acting bull, like, can I explain VPOC migration? Yeah, it's just the move of your point of control. Okay? So when it shifts and moves to a new point of control, that is the migration. Yeah, I would show that to you, but for some reason, yeah, I don't have it here. This is something I need to look into. Otherwise, I would show it to you, no problem. I can show it on crypto. No. Okay. So anyway, Rob, I think this is, it's really good, really nice to hear you say, like, you know, the evidence so far is. Can you get you to the Discord? Yeah, sure. Here, let me send you to our Discord channel over on YouTube. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to send you over. You'll see the live market analysis. Let me send you to this one. All right. So this link here will take you to the Discord channel where we are over here, but I also need to send you to the All Markets chat room here. Okay. So just a minute. because this is where you can continue the chat. Hold on just a second. Okay, copy link. There it is. Got it. There you go. Okay. So Rob, let's go through this now, because this is there was one thing that we saw in here that may lead to this scenario here of buyers coming in, and that was actually on the daily chart. That was our best kind of shot at it here from that daily chart. Is this up in here? We retested the low, and we're kind of bouncing around in here, and that's it. Everything else though in here, I'm still seeing it pointing to retesting back down into 15 here. Well, it didn't happen. Now you can see on the 15-minute chart, we're testing this swing high here at around 22. Well, the next one is up here around 24 and a quarter, 24 and a half, something like that. If there's still more buying pressure, then I imagine that's where we're going to go. Okay, we need to break through this swing high here though. First at 22, right? And that's what we're going to gauge in here. But the criteria, again, like we need to lean on something, and we never know. It's really good to hear, Rob. Don't let these things get to you. And if it does, you're trading too big. You know, it shouldn't. We should be able to shake off the loss. Shouldn't be a big deal. And losses are going to happen, and it's how we manage the losses is what really matters here. In fact, Rob, to probably wait for price to clear this range. Yeah. I mean, why not? I mean, it seems to we're still getting buying pressure in here, right? So here's the swing high up here that we're talking about, around this 24 and a half, right? Which is the cash session swing high. Okay, so maybe buyers are coming up here, try to spike above it, etc. But everything we know in here was, in fact, we even waited a little bit for a pullback, and then what happens? All of a sudden, buyers start to come in. Look at the criteria still, even in the buyers in here. Pocket of buying in here, okay, and then a little bit in here. It's not that much. And there's still a majority here of sellers, yet we're going higher, right? This is what we're leaning on, our criteria all in here. And we had a shift and a change in here, and that's that. All right, so the only thing that we can do is mitigate the risk, and that's it. And that's our job, and then look for the next more likely scenario to unfold. Okay, we're even seeing the book starting to flip a little bit here. Look at the bid underneath here. Yeah, let's see if we can find a bit more buyers just to retest that swing up here. Yeah, they seem to be coming in. Okay, big stop run there, as you guys can see. Let's jump over to our trading journal as well. I want to show you that is being released. God, I think it was released today. So if not, maybe it's early next week. Okay, but this will show our profits and losses in here, okay, and what's going on. This puts it into perspective, Rob. Not picking on you, Rob. Just you know, to not let it confuse things with you, with anybody. Like here's our perspective here. right? Like now you can filter it for the week or whatever. Let's look at the week. So from the 13th here to the 17th. Okay. So here's my equity curve. Here's my total wins. Here's my total losses. Here's my biggest win. Here's my biggest loser. Here's my average win, my average loser, and here's my profit ratio. Okay. And then here are all my trades. I've got 3 different tabs in here to take a look at. Okay. And here's the trade that we took here. Okay, 125 in loss. Okay, it didn't even go 1 for us here. It went all against us immediately. Is that true? Yeah, yeah. No, it looks like maybe it went 1 tick in our direction here. Yeah, it did. But the trading journal is showing that it did not. But anyway, the point is here is to put it into perspective. And the perspective is in front of us here. It is in the trading journal. Right? So that's what we really want to understand. Now, this is, like I said, we're in demo paper trading mode here. And you can see all sorts of little trades in here that I'm kind of testing some Bookmap products as well as kind of a range bound strategy. So I'm hurting my MFE and MAE, and I know that, and I'm fine with that. But overall, it's the point is to understand our bigger picture perspective, and losses are going to happen. You can see them in here multiple times. Okay. Now, what I don't like about what I'm showing in here is that this profit ratio here is 76. I really think this is completely skewed because of this range bound testing that I'm doing in here. And I'm showing way more profits than losses. And this is not realistic, okay, in my opinion. And MFE and MAE also are skewed because of this, right? So the profit ratio in here, profit to losses, would be much happier to see around 40%, okay? But there would be a lot smaller losers and a lot bigger gainers. Okay. Rob, you should be able to get that to work for you. And once you do, I think that might help to, kind of temper your expectations. And then just because, like what you showed yesterday in the Academy meeting was great. Like, and it looks like you're kind of on the road here of like looking at your criteria to make your decision, and then you kind of abandoned a little bit, maybe fell off the wagon a little bit, but then kind of jumped back on, and that's the way to go. That's how we learn and get better. Okay. Now our second scenario is to come up above this swing here, and we have, and boy, I still, guys, I just don't see it in here. It looks better over here to me that we would continue when we start to see this bid here up in this area, right? And that's when we can kind of come up with that second scenario. But I do not see it in here. I just don't see the criteria, and that's what unfolded. Okay. So the only thing that I can think of in here is the and tell me, I'd love to hear your insights, but is below the daily swing here, and then the move back up into the range here. Okay, and maybe next time I'll have to look at that a little closer and reconsider that. Okay, if we start to get some buyers, because usually testing the swing, and if we don't see a lot of selling, we'll get traders trade it back in to yesterday's range, and that's what's happening. Okay, now we're above the swing over here on the 15-minute chart. Right, so yeah, I imagine we're going to see a fade here. Now, or some traders take some profit, others will be stopped out, and we'll probably have a pullback into this cluster in here. Now we may not. We may just see a lot of buyers, and if they do, it might rip up to some of these swings in here, and it could be a really big move. I don't know about that. We'll have to really, let's look at the order flow. I would actually look for a fade back into this area in here. I don't know, maybe back to 22, or maybe even back down to 20 or so. Okay, I don't see any evidence of that whatsoever at this time for that fade. Okay, I'm still seeing buyers, and I'm still seeing a strong bid, and that's that. Yeah, that's right, Rob. You need to get that trading statistics 2.0 or greater. Okay, so it's this one here, trading statistics, and yeah, the version you're going to need. I'm using 2.0.5. Okay, so but again, I'm testing a bunch of kind of stuff in here. So yeah, reach out to I think Dan, maybe you can help Rob on that. I think you've been working with the beta testers on this, so we can get Rob up and running with the trading journal. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Dan. Anyway, guys, yeah, to put these things into perspective is the key. And we'll just continue to trade the way we trade, looking at our criteria and reading the order flow in here. Okay, so yeah, we're up at this important swing for today, at least for this time frame, and we're assuming that there's going to be some sellers up here, and now we're starting to see some. Okay, and now we're looking for our pullback here. Look at the offer, right? And then yeah, just at the bottom of this little swing here. Okay, and yeah, I'd look for sellers to hit into 2050 here. Now that would be a quick scalp, right? Down to 2050, I'm sorry, 2250, and there it goes. Okay, so I'm going to miss that opportunity. Well, I just did, but that's okay. Like we're not going to scalp every little move in here, but that's how you can start to look for these opportunities. We start to go through these scenarios, and we can start to read this order flow, and then we saw it in the order flow. Okay, in the transactions, we saw the offer showing a little bit more, and the aggressive sellers coming in. Okay, question is, are we still going to find buyers down here? Well, they traded into this liquidity at 2250, and it's bounced away from it. It did not transact with all of that liquidity. And now you can see they moved up one tick right here. Okay, so now we have 245 contracts up here, one tick higher at 2275. Okay, that's a little more aggressive on the bid. All right, so maybe we'll find our buyers coming back in now. Rob, this is something that you keep on bugging you, Rob. But looking at our our criteria in here in this move in here, starting to note our sellers, and this buying in here has not been that strong, yet we're able to move it up above the swing up here. Okay, and my question is, do we start to see this transition for a reversal up here? And I don't see it yet. I just don't see enough criteria in here. So for example, here we have our buyers in this smaller time frame taking price higher, and then one cluster of selling here, and then some nice selling starting to come in here, but we're not there yet. We're still looking at kind of maybe transitioning from trend to back and forth, and then we look in this kind of range in here. We look for the volume and order flow to who's dominating. Do we see a shift from buyers to sellers? Okay, or do we just kind of go back and forth in here, and we just see still more buyers? Well, then we're looking for a continuation move, not a reversal. Okay, so we just look for some back and forth in here, and then more buyers to retest the highs and continue. I don't know, is Laura in here today? Take a quick. No. Okay. Yeah, it was just something that with D&T Matter is in here, and I didn't mean to be so hard on you guys. Tell me if I was. If I was, I'm sorry. I did not mean to be hard on you guys yesterday. But I really wanted to cover this point about this criteria that we're reading here. And it's really all about these three elements: the price structure, the volume or the transactions, okay, by the aggressors, and the order flow of the limit sell orders above and limit buy orders below. That's it, okay, because we don't want to be distracted by a lot of other things. We want to understand this context, okay. But lines on a chart can really can mess with you, and like we can put VWAP on here, for example. Let me go to the anchored VWAP, our new anchored VWAP. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these anchors. Okay, and we need to see, like, once we have a line on a chart, it can kind of skew our vision of understanding this context in here, because now we're thinking, well, it's a VWAP. We have VWAP strategies. We're looking for traders to trade off of the VWAP, and that can be really dangerous, because, like, what if, for example, we're coming down into the VWAP in here looking for a bounce, but you just see tremendous selling. You see a huge order book on the offer, and you see them pulling on the bid. It's probably not only going to hit that VWAP, it's going to go right through it and probably come down to the swing low here, or this liquidity down here at 15. Okay, so that context is really what matters, not trading off of VWAP. And I was just trying to make that point, and that was all. Nothing more. So what is this, Dan? That Bruce gets all the top secrets from the 51 Bookmap stuff. Area 51. Yeah. That's right. We have a relationship with the Department of Defense and Area 51 in the order flow. All right, so let's take a look at our criteria now up in here. Now this is on a much smaller time frame in the S&P. We still have a strong bid here. We got our pullback that we were kind of looking for, and now look at it. Stair-stepping up liquidity here. more buyers starting to show and pulling liquidity up here. Okay, so yeah, I would say there's more likelihood to trade up to this 26 and maybe higher. Okay, because of what we just went through. Okay, we got our pullback, and then we're coming back up here, and we see them pulling liquidity. We see some buyers, and we look at this liquidity on the bid at a higher level here. Now, we'd like to see it a little bit higher in here as well. Would be great. And then the reaction be our buyers, and then we're going to, here they are. See them at 24.5. See them pulling at 26. See our buyers. Looking for our buyers to take it higher. And that's all we know right now. Now we might find, a huge aggressive seller take on this 24.50 liquidity, trade into it, and trade through it. Okay. Now what happened to our buyers in here? Okay, starting to dry up. Okay. What happened there? It was, well, we're looking at volume delta dots in Bookmap. So there was a big seller. Now that delta that was skewed to the buy side is now showing that it's kind of exhausting out. There's both buyers and sellers up here. This is the difference between the volume delta and the regular volume dots. Let me show you that. If we go to here and we look at our volume dots in here, we look at total volume. Okay, see how we can see both buying and selling up here now. Okay, so the volume's picking up here, right? So you might consider, I mean, I haven't looked at this configuration in quite a while. I really like the volume dots with delta. Okay, but this is giving us a different perspective here. In fact, look at the profile up here, right? So now we're finding more buyers in here as well. So we're still with our scenario of buyers taking it higher. Okay, at this time, it's a weak top. We can see it here in the profile, and due to the transactions that are taking place up at the top of the range here. Okay, weak tops are usually blown, and they go to the upside. All right, one of the things also with the weak top, something that I think is very valid and to study in here, is when you see your weak top like this, I have found, let me go back. I want to go back to our delta dots here. If we get our buyers up here, but they're failing, they just can't make it. We get a pullback and we get more buying up here, but maybe it's a lower high. We're just not finding buyers. Well, what we're looking for then is for this to fail at this point, retest all the way back down to the bottom of the range, and then we look to see if we can get our buyers come back in and take this back higher. Okay, so a lot of times we get shaken out of that. We're looking for this breakout here and just not finding enough. Well, we need to go lower. We'll find the buyers, and then we'll come back up. And typically, what we're talking about here is, show you, up in here, we get our volume dots, okay, and our big dots, big green dots up here, and yet we just can't seem to make it through. And you'll see a string just like this of selling, but usually it goes a bit lower. Retest back down here, and then that's it. Maybe we hack around here for just a minute, or not even that, like a few seconds or so, and then this is low enough for buyers, and then we start to see the big green dots again. And it lifts it right back up to here, and then we get our breakout. Okay, this is kind of like a little bit like the cup and handle. It's just a bigger move to the downside. It's like a big handle. and then a move back up, right? So let's keep our eyes open for that scenario here. Okay, because look at it's doing exactly what we were just talking about here. We have our buyers here failing to get higher though. Buyers here at a lower level, failing to get higher. Buyers here even at a lower level. Okay, looking for this move to the downside and retesting these lows in here. Okay, and then looking for buyers to come back up through this level here, and then maybe we can get our breakout. Okay, this can be really nice, and why it works. It's really nice because you can get a fill down here, which is fantastic, and then you get all of this range and you get the breakout. Okay, DNT, I see you posted. Okay, yeah, the image that we had gone through yesterday, directional move. All right. Well, anyway, the concept is still the same though. Our weak top here, especially here, you can see it, is it auctioned here, and it auctioned a lot, right? That's why it's weak. But it's not. I don't believe it's some sort of conspiracy theory or anything. Instead, it's just that we're just not finding new buyers up here. We're finding some, they're just not able to move it. Therefore, we need to kind of flush through. We need to go lower to find buyers. Once we find enough, then we can come back up here, auction again, and typically we find enough for a breakout at that point. That's the concept. It's not that, my stop is down here and they're going to nail it and everything. It's just, look for the move lower to find some buyers, and then the move back up. Can I consider absorption, top absorption, or not enough volume? I don't see absorption up here right now, yeah, I don't see many icebergs either in here. So I just think that they're trying to lift the offer, and they just can't. Yeah, here's this move that we're talking about. Let's see if we get it. Okay, I don't know. I don't really think we have enough criteria for it to be like high probability. We can take a shot at it and see, but yeah, I'd like to hold off. It's just not worth it. There's not enough in here. If I saw some really big buying in here, maybe. I'm just not seeing it. Okay, but we might see buying right back up above, right here actually. We get that, and then we can jump in. And also the offer is pretty strong here. We see a little bit more liquidity at 25 here, and a little more here at 26 as well. And we don't want to see that. We want to see them pulling. Okay, so we're not really getting a lot of criteria in here for that move higher. Caesar, this is something that I've kind of, yesterday I was covering in the Bookmap Academy meeting a lot about the volume at certain levels. But the liquidity and absorption is just so key and so important. We like mentioned this stair stepping in here of liquidity at higher levels. And we know it's the same player that once he pulls, he adds a higher level, etc. That much we know. But it really is something to add into your criteria that is just so essential. Okay, so like right now, we traded back down here. Okay, now some of that liquidity traded and some was pulled. All right, so but let's take a look here now, because buyers did meet, or some sellers did meet the buyers down here. Now here they are on the bid again. Okay, and now they pulled. All right, what I'm trying to get at, Caesar, is that when we one great confluence or criteria in the setup is look for that high liquidity to transact. Okay, because once we do, we know we found buyers here, and that's just fact. Now we're looking at the context above or below that transaction. And like right now, we're starting to see some transactions above it. Okay, so now we can go back to our scenario in here of looking for our buyers to come back up here and then try to trade through. Yeah, they're starting to absorb down here. But see how we're coming back up into this liquidity now. And this is why Bookmap is, the heat map is so helpful, because we understand this context in here, right? Well, it kept us away from this because we weren't quite too sure because of this offer in here. And we're like, yeah, that's not really it, that's not really what we're looking for, right? And it helps us look for something that is clearer, and then we're aligned more with the players in the auction. Last few days that weren't so good for your statistics, Lasse. Yeah, yeah, we can look at the NQ as well. I've been trading a lot of the NQ lately with this range bound strategy, just because the S&P is, as you guys can see, I mean, like it's only moving a few points in here. Where the NASDAQ's going to move like 10 at minimum. Yeah. So here's the reaction to this offer here. We're just not getting the buyers, right? So now what was kind of like we're looking for maybe a continuation pattern in here, we're starting to see that reversal pattern, right? We're starting to see that flow change. So you can see it here. Like here's our buying, okay, here. Here's our selling here. And then this is our buying up here. We're looking for quite a bit more, right? And we just didn't get it. And then we're looking for, okay, well, maybe we'll get this move. And it's a weak top, yet it looks like it's going to fail here. So we're looking for this pullback into this liquidity here, which we did get. And then we're looking for the move back up again, and then the potential breakout, right? And we need to see buyers though on that move back up, and we see sellers instead. Look at up here, we see a lack of buying, we see exhaustion, and then we get another rotation back down. Okay. So now we're starting to see a little bit more. Are we really seeing that transition take place from about here? Not really. I would say there are nice little selling cluster in here, but it's pretty low volume altogether. So we're really not getting much of anything here. Okay. So yeah, that's what we see so far. Now here come our sellers at the bottom edge here. Okay. So now they've just traded down to the bottom edge. It's nice cluster of selling, and they're starting to pull on the offer. So maybe we'll get our move down to this swing, which lines up with the VWAP as well. Okay, again, it's only a few points of a move, but that's it. Okay. See the difference here? Like we're looking at it in here. They're adding on the offer at these lower levels. We did trade into this, and that matters. Okay, and then we're looking for our buyers. We didn't get it. We got more sellers, yeah, and then they started to pull, and now they're starting to add back in a bit here. Okay, so not much actually. So yeah, still looking for sellers to take it down further. Okay, maybe we can trade through VWAP as well. Again, VWAP I don't really care about. I care about the the liquidity. It's down here, 20.5. All right, NQ. I've got a couple things on NQ to show you guys. Yeah, NQ selling off from the peak up here. That's no surprise. I'm going to show you here. Okay. Yeah, here you go, Caesar. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so now we've traded into high liquidity here and here. Wow, and we're still seeing selling pressure. Okay, this is that context we want to understand, this is good. It's good to see this. They're transacting into that high liquidity. Okay, we just don't have buyers yet. Okay, now if we can get buyers back up above here, I'd be looking for a move right back up. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get it. And let's see them go for this swing up here at 58. Maybe a trend. 55-ish. No, nothing. More sellers. Okay, so look for the next level of liquidity. Now look at the liquidity level here in the NQ. This did show up, here at 55, 53, and 50. Okay, but look at this high liquidity that is kind of a halo around price. Very high liquidity added and pulled. So I have another one here with Trader Map Pro. And if you guys have that MBO bundle, highly recommend it. It's included in it. So use it. And we can create a filter for liquidity. And see how we filtered out that liquidity on the heat map that was that kind of halo around the best bid and offer. No, Bookmap, there is a free version of Bookmap, but it is with delayed data and one live crypto instrument. Okay, now here we go, trading off into high liquidity down here. It's still selling off. Okay, but what I'm looking for, the potential after trading into all this high liquidity in here, do we find some buyers? Do we see a cluster of buyers in here? And Caesar, I'm trying to answer your question about how important it is to understand this relationship of liquidity and transactions. Okay, because we know that these transactions took place here. Okay, so now we need another piece of the criteria though. Okay, we need buyers in here now. Okay, now see how we're starting to mount here? Okay, well just let them retest up here. just some of the swings that broke down from. And then I'm wondering if we're still going to see some more sellers. Okay, that would go transition us from this move down to back and forth, and then potentially for a reversal or another continuation. Okay, that we don't know yet. We don't have enough in here to tell us this. Okay, see how they're bidding up underneath here? Okay, well, let's see. What's the reaction? Do we find our buyers? Yeah. All right, so let's see the buyers hit 41, 42. There they go. Okay, now let's see the reaction after that. Okay, still finding more buyers. Okay, up to 45. We've just gone low enough to find the buyers on the bid in these areas in here, and now we're starting to find the aggressors. Okay, I'm still looking for some back and forth though. I know that there's a lot of selling, finding some buying. Okay, now look at the offer here, right? And then look at the bid in here. There we go. We found some sellers. All right, sellers, let's see if you can take it down right back down to 31 or 30. If there's still more selling pressure. And nothing yet. Okay, here they come. Okay, sellers, you got to clean. See how they have a kind of a clean road ahead of them? There's some on the bid in here. It's not a whole lot though. So we look for a move back down to, we can look at the swings, but we're looking at also at the heat map. Okay, they're down here around 34, 35, 31, and 30. And buyers are going to take these guys on the bid, on the offer here. Yep, there they go. Okay, didn't see that one coming, but fact is fact here. All right, so we found quite a few buyers now. Okay, so see, should be able to continue on. They are. Next areas up here, 60, maybe 68, 70, but waiting for some more liquidity to come in there. These are weird patterns. Usually we go from back and forth to you know, like more of a range bound in here, but we kind of just dive into this high liquidity in here and found some buyers, and then really found some up in here. See, S&P came all the way back down and tested that swing. The NASDAQ, did it? Kind of. It's a little bit more bullish here, the NASDAQ. It did not come back down and test the swings here. Yeah, Fridays are tough, rainy days. I agree. Sometimes we just really see it. Most of the time though, it can be challenging, and it's just kind of how it is on Fridays. That's my assessment though. Um, The and there's kind of like a lot of sloshing around back and forth in here. And look at again at it in here. You know, high liquidity all of a sudden coming in the order book here, here, and here. They actually did the buyers did take them on here, but we're still selling off into this liquidity here at 45. Boom. Okay, there we go. All right. So now I would assume we're going to find some buyers off of this. This is where they came in before. All right. So let's take a look at this. Now I'm going to be trading off of this chart here. This is the Trader Map Pro chart. Now I'm looking for a range bound in here. Okay, but a bigger range, basically. You know, from here on up to you know, 53 or so. So now that just okay, I got my brackets on here way too tight. Okay, trader error on that. So let's try this again. Okay, and let's see if we get taken back in here again. There's our, yeah, right away, top of the range, in fact, which I don't like. But yeah, we have our we do have some criteria in here. It's not a whole lot, but I just want to demo the trading management in here. And then we're looking for a move back up to something like this up here. Now let's look at the heat map and see if the heat map helps us here. Okay, so well, this is where we had high liquidity come in and it did not transact, but this is where the sellers came in. Okay, so again, we're looking for just range bound activity in here right now. But in this transaction here and where these buyers came in, that is our criteria. Okay, so we're looking for buyers to take it back up to at least to this area up here. Okay, this maybe I should bring it down a little bit more, but I'm going to keep it where it is around this 52.5. Right, that's the idea. Okay, so just Caesar, I really appreciate that. You know, mentioning the absorption, the high liquidity. You know, the NASDAQ even relates to it even better. I feel that you see that move into high liquidity, and that's where you see a lot of reversals or a lot of pivots take place, I should say. Okay, so let's look for it on the offer. So we just hit some here, right? So it's kind of struggling to get through that now. Now it made it through. Okay, so there's our move up. All right, so look at us. We're flat for the day. So 125 here, and then 125 negative on the ES. But there was a little bit more criteria in here, I think, that at least for this small trade idea. And it's a small trade, right? We're not looking for a whole lot out of it, but we're just looking for, because of we saw all of this on the move down. We're like, wow, you know, it's trading into all this high liquidity here on the bid, on the bid, on the bid, all the way down here, and then this one here, and then we start to see some buyers come in. We see this move to the upside here. We have high liquidity that comes down to where they broke out from, and it transacts. Okay, and then that's where we got in. So, and then I had trader error here with the my brackets not set right, and the reason being is because you look over here on the NASDAQ. If this is the one without Trader Map Pro, I have it set for 60 and 40 here, but 60 and 30. But I didn't have it. I opened up and wanted to trade off of this Trader Map Pro here, and I did not have it set. So my error. All right, so now let's take a look. And so it's done this range bound trade and then some. It's come up a little further, but now we're going to start to look for the absorption on the other side. Do we have any tools that show the speed of the market? Absolutely. One thing to look at immediately, Simon, is yeah, rainy days. Actually, you know, if you you take a few scalps, but really not worth it. I mean, a lot of those scalps, if you see the criteria and it matches what you're looking for, they can add up really quickly. You know, it's if it's not your style, then absolutely don't do that. But if it fits your style, then you know, it can be a great way when there's not much happening. Okay, pick your instruments correctly and your markets and let it rip. Speed of market. Okay, so number one is you can look at the angle. Okay, so this is, you know, this rip here. Look at the speed of that market, right? We also have cumulative volume delta down here, and then we also see an equal move to the downside as well. Okay, now up in here we see a little bit of speed, and then it tapers off. Now a lot of sell speed right now, as you can see. However, we have these new market pulse tools, which I've been playing around with quite a bit here. Pace of tape. Okay, so hold on. What's going on here? This is weird. Okay. That was odd. Okay. Anyway, works just fine now. So let's look at our pace of tape. Okay, we'll turn it on and start it. It's just loading, and let's look at our buyers and sellers in here. Okay, so comparing buyers and sellers in here. Right, we also have it in the subchart in here. And then we get rid of cumulative volume delta. Another way of looking at speed is also cumulative volume delta, as you can see here. You know, steep angles. Okay, like this one and this one over here. But let's look at this market pulse. I think you'll enjoy this. Here we can right click on it and add a little more historical data as well. Okay, so this is when the buyers and sellers are meeting a criteria in here within 5 minutes. Okay, and a half-life period of 10. We're looking for when they cross a threshold of 70%, and when it does, then show me. Okay, so here we had, you know, pretty speedy move to the downside, which we already knew, and we can see it here as well. Okay, now we're probably going to get another one here on the buy side here. All right, let's see if we get a continuation pattern out of that. Buyers, a little bit of a pullback. Want to see a stronger bid, not a stronger offer. Okay, now they're pulling. Now it's getting a little stronger. All right, let's see it, buyers. Let's see if you can make it back up to 57 and 59 liquidity here. See how this guy, these players keep coming in here on the offers, kind of holding price down a bit. Right, Sean. Sure, we'll go over the Trader Map Pro. Settings here. All right, so up here, Trader Map Pro. Here, okay. All right, so you can see it here. It's on not changed. Okay, show orders, only the orders that were not changed by price or size. That's it. Okay, here we can create another one in here. Just click on create, click on add, here. We'll make one for the S&P. Okay, not for the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ one is really helpful, as you guys know. Actually, let's make it for the NASDAQ, and we'll try to getting some odd things happening here. Okay, so I actually just lost it. It's okay, we'll add it back in. So anyway, yeah, now you can hear the buyers and sellers coming in again, the pace of tape. Get rid of that one and recreate this Trader Map Pro for you, Sean, so you see it. Okay, so we'll do another one for the NASDAQ here. Click on Add, and then from filters here, order change filter. Okay, that opens up the drop downs for show only the orders that were changed or not changed, and we're going to select not changed if I can. There we go. And then by price or size, or by let's do it by size as well and see if we get a difference here in the heat map. Okay, and then we're going to press play, and what that does is open up a new symbol here, as you can see. And we're going to look at this one and compare it to our other here. Okay, one of the issues, or it's not an issue, it's just a condition here, that with the Trader Map Pro is like we're filtering it here, and yeah, we just lost some data in here, right? But yeah, that's what it was. I had a data issue, it looks like. Few different data issues. So it didn't really filter out what we're looking for in here. See how it's not filtering this in here, right? So I like the other one a lot better. So I'm just going to close that one, and we'll look at the filter for time or price and size. Okay, and this one's working pretty well for us. Yeah, it works really well on NASDAQ, Sean. Yeah, play around with it, definitely. I think you'll want to look at that. All right, let me go to show a little more historical data here. Trader Map Pro, I mean the pace of tape. Let's see, another question on pace of tape, or seeing the speed of the market. So here we got this pace of tape move here, right? And we almost got another one here, extreme. We got another one here. It just went red here. Okay, so we know there's a lot of sellers coming in here now. Okay, this is kind of similar, Rob, to what you had actually showed an image yesterday that we covered, where we saw, like, the larger seller coming in and just hitting the bid hard, moving it, hitting the bid hard, moving it, hitting the bid hard again and moving it. So now we know whenever it comes back up to the top of the range in here, they're selling up here. There's no doubt about it. And we can see that now we broke the low here. So now here's buyers attack back up to this area here. are these sellers are they still selling up here? Okay, we're going to assume they are. Okay, we're going to look for criteria in here to support that idea in here at this level. Okay, now here are buyers, right? That's not what we want, right? We may see buyers come in and upend all of these sellers in here, and then we can get a nice move to the upside. So that scenario is possible. Okay, we're looking for the opposite though. So we're looking for actually maybe get some buyers on the hook, fail, come back in here, get some sellers, and then move lower, right? So let's even prepare for that and what that looks like in here. A little back and forth right now. Okay, that's fine. And then we're going to look for our sellers coming in here. Okay, and we're staying away until we see those sellers. And the order book to help us out. Don't like seeing this guy here at 47 or this player. Okay, let's see if we can get it here. Some sellers. And there we go. Okay, so let's see now. We got it. We found some sellers. And we're finding our buyers trying to upend these guys still. Boy, it went immediately against us. Okay, and we have a flip of the book in here a bit. Now they're on the bid up at this higher level in here. Stopped out. Boy, we got caught in those twice today. We had our criteria in here, yet buyers came back in. And they stepped it up, that stair stepping underneath here and everything. Tricky day, you know. We had our criteria, we're looking for it, and that's the condition today. Anyway, it was a good question about the speed of tape, and then we saw this in here. Okay, I'm still looking for them in here. If we get a slanted or skewed book in here, we can still look for them. We're still seeing more on the bid though here. It's pushing price higher. Again, the high liquidity up here, traded into it. We see the move down. And we're looking for that context here. We traded into this high liquidity here, but we still traded lower. Okay, so obviously this is it doesn't always work, but we're looking for that test up in these swings, right? And that high liquidity. Okay, so we have a swing and we have high liquidity. Okay, here's some little bit of exhaustion up here on this swing here, and we're getting our sellers. So let's see it then, sellers. Let's see if you can now drop it. And let's see it, sellers through this area here, through 50. We're sticking above like this 650 here, looking for them, the sellers, to drive it through this 650. And if they can, it should be a nice move. Anyway, you know, we don't see a whole lot of selling down here to justify that right now. Okay, we are getting that exhaustion though. Here we go. Okay, so again, weak bottom here now, and now we're breaking through. Okay. So we didn't get a whole lot of selling in here, but we had no buying up in here, and we're making lower highs in here, and then we're seeing our sellers in here, and now we're getting that move. Okay, it wasn't much of a weak bottom, to be honest. Let me add in the column here. Okay, and configure it to, yeah. So it wasn't much of a weak, you know, bottom in here, but you can see it in here, right? And then, but this combination of the lower highs and not much buying up in here, if we can see them mount the attack here, we're likely to break it. Okay? And again, I passed on it. It happened pretty quickly, but anyway. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up. Let's call it a day. Thanks for coming, everybody, and we will catch up with you on Monday. It's been pretty choppy. A couple hard reads in here, a couple of good reads, but anyway, we'll readdress it on Monday. And have a good weekend, everybody. Okay. Yeah. Take care. Bye bye.